Mike, the two-lane traveler, bringing you another road trippin' video. For today's trip, we're heading to Virginia and Tennessee to visit the Twin Cities of Bristol. Bristol is one of a handful of cities that share the same name but are split across state borders. Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas come to mind as one pair. Another pair is Texarkana, Texas and Texarkana, Arkansas. The two cities are more alike than different, though Bristol, Tennessee is slightly larger with a population of 27,000 people compared to Bristol, Virginia's population of 17,000. Bristol, Tennessee is larger geographically too. It's about 25 square miles compared to 13 square miles for Bristol, Virginia. But they stand side by side, split through their downtowns. For a tourist, it all appears to be a single city, with the north side of State Street being in Virginia and the south side being in Tennessee. Pay attention to traffic and be courteous, but the locals are used to tourist photo ops, so quickly take your picture standing in two different states on State Street, then move along. What makes Bristol so special? How about the fact that it's called the birthplace of country music and is home to the famous Bristol Motor Speedway, just to name two of many things. In the 1927 and 1928 Bristol sessions, musicians gathered from all over to record their music in what became known as the Big Bang of country music. Musicians like Jimmy Rogers, the Carter Family, Ernest Stoneman, and many others recorded here during those sessions, introducing their unique music to much of the country. Johnny Cash once called the Bristol Sessions the single most important event in the history of country music. The Birthplace of Country Music Museum tells the whole story of the 1927 and 28 Bristol Sessions and how they shaped modern country music. It explores how evolving sound technology shaped the recording success of these early musicians, bringing this music into the mainstream and highlighting how this rich heritage lives on in today's music. I think you may find this to be a fascinating museum, whether you're a country music fan or not. There are signs of this rich musical heritage everywhere as you move through the city. A giant guitar, the famous mural, and even reminders in the park, to name a few. The original location of these recording sessions no longer exists, but a stone monument marks the location on State Street. Music continues to be an important part of the city's makeup, from the annual Bristol Rhythm and Roots festivals to live performances in the Paramount Center for the Arts, a beautiful 1931 Art Deco movie theater. Just down the street from the theater is the famous Bristol sign straddling State Street, with Bristol, Virginia on the left and Bristol, Tennessee on the right. It was placed in this location in 1915, and the slogan, "A Good Place to Live," was added in 1921. It's listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Just this side of the tracks from the sign is the Bristol train station. It was built in 1902 with the last passenger train leaving the station in 1971. It was restored in 2006 and is now used for weddings and various social events. It's also listed on the National Register of Historic Places. An unassuming house at 1223 Anderson Street was the childhood home of Bristol's most famous resident, Tennessee Ernie Ford. In 1991, the Bristol Historical Association purchased the home and spent the next 16 years restoring it to its original condition. Access to the home is by appointment only, but you can see it to take exterior photos along the road. Bristol is also famous for two racetracks. NASCAR fans are well aware of Bristol Motor Speedway and the two races held at the track, the Food City 500, and the Bass Pro Shops night race. A Major League Baseball game will be played at the Speedway on August 2nd, 2025, between the Atlanta Braves and Cincinnati Reds. It will be the first ever Major League Baseball game played in the state of Tennessee. For drag racing fans, the legendary Bristol Dragway, better known as Thunder Valley, hosts an NHRA national event each year. The Super Grip NHRA Thunder Valley Nationals will be held on June 6th through 8th, 2025. There are lots of good places to eat in Bristol, but I'll just mention a couple. Delta Blues Barbecue serves up amazing food. Their ribs are excellent. So are their seasoned fries, coleslaw, and homemade chips. I plan to return soon to try more items on their menu. The Burger Bar has been here since the 1940s and is the self-proclaimed best burger in Bristol. The burgers are good, and they have several interesting versions. They also have good milkshakes. You will see many references here to the great country singer Hank Williams. The story is that on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1952, Williams' driver stopped here to pick up some food on their way to his concert the next day in Ohio. He wasn't feeling well, and so he stayed in the car, lying in the back seat. It wasn't until several hours later that the driver realized the 29-year-old country music superstar had died, making the Burger Bar the last place he was seen alive. If you need a place to stay, the historic Bristol Hotel is a very nice place. If you like to gamble, the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino is celebrating its grand opening in November 2024. So that's Bristol, Virginia and Bristol, Tennessee. I hope I've given you enough reasons to visit and explore their unique features. You won't be disappointed if you do. I've included a link to my map of Bristol in the comments section below. It identifies all of the locations shown and talked about in this video. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comments section below and I'll respond. Thanks for watching.